Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome to the Quests of Classic WoW, a video series where we go over some very memorable quest chains in Classic WoW. This time we're checking out another great quest chain that will give you some pretty cool insight on a certain brotherhood, which are recognized by their red bandit masks and something pretty much every Alliance player has run into while leveling up. That's right, today we're checking out the quest chain, the Defias Brotherhood. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the quest chain starts at the tower at Sentinel Hill, a village in Westfall. When we walk up to grind Stoutmantle and talk to him, we get the first quest. The band of wretches responsible for driving the good people of Westfall from the land call themselves the Defias Brotherhood. I need you to infiltrate this clan of thugs. We need to know who heads up the cartel and where they're hiding out. In Lakeshire, in the inn, there is a rogue by the name of Wiley who owes me a favor. Travel to Lakeshire in the Red Ridge Mountains, east of Elwyn, and find out what you can. Alright, so for the first part we're off to Lakeshire. After we got onto a wyvern and land there, we enter the inn where we'll find Wiley the Black on the first floor. So, Stoutmantle sent you. Well, I owe him. And now we get the next part. What I'm about to tell you could cost my life. The Defias gang is up to something big. Last I heard, they're working in conjunction with various gnolls, kobolds and even goblins. Take this note to Stoutmantle. It explains as much as I know on the subject. Now, as this is a video series focused on the lore side of the quests, we're also going to have a look at the note and see what Wiley the Black wrote down. Stoutmantle, some nerve sending me a total stranger to discuss the Defias gang. Once you saved my life, and now you put it in great peril. But I owe you. The Defias Brotherhood is larger than you think. Every mine from Westfall to Elwyn Forest is under their control. Kobolds and gnolls have been enlisted to do their dirty work. They have goblins crafting metal monsters to place in the Westfall fields to prey on the superstitions of the local residents. They have a vast underground network built, bigger than you know, Stoutmantle, from Booty Bay right to Stormwind Keep. You may be a brave paladin, but you are a fool if you think you can shut them down. They are working on a weapon of mass destruction. After all, if there's one thing stonemasons know, it's how to build big. You didn't think this was about pumpkin farms and vineyards, now did you? I repay your favor, now leave me be. And this is where you'll probably have an aha moment, because yes, while the mines are right into the heart of the human territory, they're not controlled by the Alliance. They're controlled by kobolds and gnolls, and it turns out they're not just working for themselves, but those kobolds and gnolls are working for the Defias Brotherhood. Next we go back to grind Stoutmantle. Good to see you back, adventurer. What did Wiley have to say for himself? Then we had in the quest. Pah, I should have let that scoundrel rot when I had the chance. But this information is crucial. Good work. And then we get the next part. I wonder what Wiley meant when he mentioned the stonemasons. Perhaps that was a slip of tongue. Could the Defias gang be related to the stonemasons? Only one man would know for sure. Matthias Shaw, head of the SI7. Show him Wiley's note and see if he has anything to add to this growing mystery. If you have trouble finding Shaw, check the barracks in Old Town. So we're off to Stormwind to inform Matthias Shaw. Once we find him in the SI7's headquarters, we talk to him. What business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man. Then we head in the quest. This matter might be more complex than Stoutmantle realizes. And then we get the next part. The Stonemasons Guild was run by a man named Edwin Van Cleef. Van Cleef was responsible for rebuilding Stormwind after the orcs razed it in the First War. Apparently, Van Cleef and his men were unhappy with their treatment by the king after the reconstruction was complete. That might just explain a thing or two. I have written a more detailed account for your master in Westfall. Take this to him at once. Alright, and before we do, let's go ahead and check out what Matthias' report says. Lord Stoutmantle. Led by Edwin Van Cleef, the Stonemasons Guild was composed of the most skilled builders among men. The Stonemasons helped to rebuild the broken city of Stormwind that was razed by the orcs during the First War. Van Cleef and his tradesmen were peerless builders, and their work in artistry was evident in the edifices of the Cathedral of Light and Stormwind Keep itself. However, the nobles of Stormwind ran up a huge debt by expanding the kingdom's military presence through Elwyn and into Stranglethorn. The massive debt crippled the kingdom's economy and stripped Van Cleef and his stonemasons of their promised rewards. After spending years toiling to rebuild the glorious city, the stonemasons were left broke, forgotten by the city's corrupt officials. Having personally known Edwin Van Cleef my entire life, I can tell you that facing him as a foe is quite a daunting task. You see, he was my childhood friend, and I personally trained him in the ways of the shadows, thinking that one day he might consider a career alongside me. If Van Cleef is heading up the Defias Brotherhood, may the light have mercy on our souls. So now things are starting to get a lot more clear to us. These are not just simple thugs or random bandits with no background story. These were former stonemasons who put blood, sweat and tears into rebuilding Stormwind and never got rewarded for it. They're not just out to plunder, they're out to seek vengeance. However, whether they are justified in doing so is not up to us. They are a threat to the Alliance and to Stormwind, so we have to follow our orders. Which means going back to Sentinel Hill and look up Grian Stoutmantle. Did Master Shaw shed any light on things? And then we had in the quest. Edwin Van Cleef. I know the name well. To think that a man so industrious and talented could turn into such a scoundrel unnerves me. I'll need further proof before I believe this. And then we get the next part. We need to discover the location of the Defias hideout. Adventurer, my scout reports that a Defias messenger has been seen on the roads between Moonbrook, the Gold Coast Quarry and the Jangalope Mine. I want you to capture him. If he resists, kill him and bring me whatever he is carrying. So like Grian Stoutmantle told us, we're checking out the road that goes from Moonbrook to Gold Coast Quarry and the Jangalope Mine. Not much later we find the Defias messenger, a simple non-elite that is fairly easy to kill. Once we killed him, we obtain a note, and here's what it says. Black Nils, the sea awaits us. We need your supplies from the north. Strip everything, every railroad pike, every water bucket. We need metal. A shipment is due from BB, but long overdue. Come through for me, Black Nils. Send your supplies directly to the barn this time. No time to squander. Van Cleef. Wait, what? The seas? As far as we know until now, the Defias mostly do their business by land. Do they have some hidden docks and preparing for some sort of naval assault? Well, we definitely need to get this info back to Grian Stoutmantle, so back to Sentinel Hill we go. Adventurer, were you able to gather any information? Did you locate the messenger? Then we hand in the quest and give Grian the note. This is indeed firm proof that Van Cleef is in charge. Now all we need to know is where the Defias gang is hiding out. We've had a stroke of luck while you were gone. We captured a thief trying to steal Saldian's wagon. He has promised to lead us to the hideout in exchange for his life. I want you to defend the traitor so we can reveal the hideout. Return to me once you have uncovered the location. Alright then, in front of Grian Stoutmantle, at the edge of the tower, we find ourselves the thief, so we go and talk to him. So Stoutmantle sends a scrawny human like you to protect me? Guess you'll have to do. Better bring some friends too. You know the deal, right? You watch my back and I'll take you to the Defias hideout. But you better be close by my side. The Defias gang wants my head now. If they see me with you, they'll try to kill me. Let me know when you and any friends you can round up are ready to go. And since this is again on my own server, I'll do this myself with the old insta-kill button. Anyway, when we get the quest, the Defias trader starts making his way to the Defias hideout. And thank God he's not heading there while walking 1 mile an hour like some escort quests in Classic WoW. After walking around a bit, we end up at Moonbrook, and from there on out, any Defias who see the trader will instantly start attacking him, sometimes even 2 to 3 mobs at the same time, so make sure you have at least 1 or 2 friends like the quest suggests. Not much later, we end up at the town square, and make a left to this barn close by. Once we get to the entrance, we're told that this is the hideout of Edwin Van Cleef. After this, we meet with Grian Stoutmantle again. Most excellent adventurer. Van Cleef is as good as ours now that we know where he is hiding. And then we get the next and final part of this quest chain. There is but one task left for you to complete. Edwin Van Cleef must be assassinated. While it saddens me to condemn any man to a death sentence, it is for the greater good of the people of Westfall that Van Cleef is laid to rest once and for all. Bring me the villain's head once the deed is done. So, this is it. We must now exterminate Edwin Van Cleef, which means we will have to go all the way through the depth mines and see what exactly the Defias Brotherhood are hiding there. When we go back to the entrance to the barn at Moonbrook, we walk up and then we drop down into a maze of mine shafts crowded by miners and elite Defias mobs. Eventually, you'll get to the entrance of the actual dungeon, and once we're in, it's time to stop Van Cleef. So while you're making your way there, it's really cool to see that alongside the Defias humans, you will see goblins doing all kinds of stuff for them in a sawmill kind of area and a giant furnace. Clearly they're using a lot of manpower and resources, but what are they building that requires this much? There's only one way to find out, and that is to head deeper into the depth mines. Eventually you'll come across a locked door that you have to blast open with powder you get in this dungeon. And when you blast the door open, you are now exposed to what this was all building up to. You walk through the door into a large cave with a ginormous boat. And not just any boat, a battleship loaded with tons of guns. A battleship big enough to destroy a city like Stormwind. So this is it. This is what Van Cleef was talking about in the note that we got from the Defias messenger. They're planning to use this to attack from the sea and destroy Stormwind. When you make your way up the ship, you will eventually, at the top deck, encounter Van Cleef. It's time to put an end to this villain. Once he's dead, we loot his head, and we make our way down this path to exit the dead mines from the other side. Then we make our way over to grind Stout Mantle one last time. How goes the hunt for Edwin Van Cleef? And then we head in the final part. Adventurer, your bravery is remarkable. The People's Militia thanks you for your service to the people of Westfall. With Van Cleef dead, this marks the beginning of the end for the Defias Brotherhood. Hopefully someday soon, peace will once again grace the plains of this fair land. I salute you, sir. And there we go, the entire Defias Brotherhood quest chain. I think now it's very clear to people why this quest chain is remembered so well. From the fact that this explains the Defias Brotherhood's backstory, to the fact that for many people on the Alliance side, this involved their very first dungeon run. And what a dungeon it was. We encountered tons of miners, wizards, goblins, pirates, and of course Edwin Van Cleef himself. What's also really cool is that if you're in the final room, so to say, and you look to your left, you see a giant gate, which is also out of the depth mines. Yeah, you ever notice that giant gate in Stranglethorn Vale as a horde when you're starting out your raid night? Well, behind that gate is the Defias battleship. Another thing I wanted to point out is that when you first start out as a human, your very first encounter with mobs in the game are the kobolds at Northshire. And as we learned from reading the notes, the mines in the area where you'll find kobolds are actually kobolds working for the Defias. Which means right from the get-go, you are already confronted with the Defias Brotherhood. Not to mention the actual Defias mobs at the farm in this area. I thought it was kinda cool pointing that out as well. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Quest of Classic WoW, and I'll be back very soon with another video, but until then, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.